You're here, I'm here, we're here. Thank you for coming. Special edition 222 MC Summit Facebook Live. We are always in search of the next salon company, salon leader, salon owner, salon service provider that is doing some awesome stuff. And today is no different. In my guest room as we speak is Mr. Jason Facio. He is the owner, leader, matriarch of Elements Salon in Nashville, Tennessee. And his coach is Mike Carter. And let me tell you why I wanted Jason to come in today. He's a very busy guy, but he was kind enough to say, yes, I'd love to. Because that's the role he's been on. From 2016, 17, 18, 19, you can see he's growing and he's well into 7 digits. And when you look at his metric, that's basically his means to getting there. Look at this. Average salon ticket's $136. Haircut price is $55. You do the math on that. His average ticket is darn near 3 times his base haircut price, which tells me that his culture and his core values and his team are really, really masters at engaging the clients and getting way more involved in the service menu than a haircut. And this is what really blows my mind is 30% of his 9,600 guest count. I'm going to ask him what kind of window of time that's tied to, but 30% of it is new. So his brand it precedes him. His reputation precedes anyone in his company, and he's doing some things, real interesting things on Snips. He's doing some curious things also on another element that I'm going to get him talking about as well. He is rebooking at about 64%. RTS is 12%. I'm going to engage him a little bit about his story, so I don't want to take any wind out of that sail. But in a nutshell, graduates high school in 92, graduates from college in 95, and in 2013 opens a salon. He's going to tell you about how he on-ramped that business. It's just an extraordinary story. And in 2005, he attends his first summit. At the time, it was called a strictly business type of summit, and the rest is history. I'm going to let him kind of catch us up to him. If you're not following him on social media, I would suggest, I had his page on my mobile as I was bringing you guys up this afternoon. Elements Salon Nashville is his handle on Instagram and his handle on Facebook. Instagram has one heck of a community. And more than half of his referrals comes in from Instagram, Facebook, and I'm going to get him talking a lot about his intake of new guests, especially since COVID, and how he brings his new guests in through the latest, greatest Snip digital technology, and how that's really empowered him to kind of get his arms and his people's arms around the new guests in the new normal. So more to come. So stay tuned. He's in the back in my guest room now. I'm going to go get him. I'm going to get him talking about his story, and then I'm going to engage him in sharing some of his secret sauce with us. So stand by. Cross your fingers. We always got to cross our fingers that the Wi-Fi gods are being nice when we go and get our guest. There he is. I'm going to unmute him, and you are going to make him feel very welcome, you guys. How'd I do?
Good, great.
Good to have you on the show. I know you got a lot going on in your life, and you were kind enough to give us a few minutes of your time and tell us your story and what you're doing that's making a difference.
Sure. Thank you. So, Mike, well, actually, one thing that I didn't tell you is I lost my house in a tornado in March. So the tornado hit the house on March 3rd, and then on the 14th, we closed so it was like crazy. It's been a crazy year.
You picked a
obviously.
heck
It's
of a
2020,
time
right?
to lose your house. So you really, when you say all is well in COVID hell, you really mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I actually I follow you on my news feed, and I remember the day when you posted that, and there was just a lot going on in your life.
Yeah, a lot going on, but it's good. I mean, all in all, we're doing really well. We found a little house and we moved in, and it's been great. You know, we didn't have to deal with the whole rebuilding or anything. We just moved. So it worked out well.
And
But
then
I want to tell you a little bit about my story. You were asking me how my journey started. And I started when I was about 23 years old. I started working the front desk at a salon. I had been working at Dell Computers, which was the death because it was just terribly corporate. And then one day I went into a salon and I just loved it. I just love the feeling of being on a vacation when you're working. I just love the feeling of receiving people in a smiling environment and just being in a happy place. Made a world of difference to my well-being, my mental health. And I was around people that were social, that were fun. And it just felt like it was not work. And so that was when I was 23. I started working the front desk at a big salon. And about 6 months in, the owner, who was a stylist, fires the manager and makes me, a 23-year-old, the manager. And we had 25 stylists. I was the youngest. And so it was scary, but you know, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing.
yeah.
And I grew a lot in those 8 years working the front desk at that salon. It was wonderful. It was the best school I ever had. And then, you know, came the time when I decided I had to do something else. And so when I turned 30, I left the industry completely, and I went to fundraise for the museum here, the Museum of Art. And I was fundraising for 2 years. And then the owner came back and said, hey, I need you back. Would you mind coming back? And I was like, I have to go back. So I went back and I worked with him another 3 years. And then after that, my stepdad, my mother lives in Argentina. I grew up in South America, in Argentina, Buenos Aires. And my stepfather had ALS. And so when that happened, I kind of stopped my life and started to re-examine things. And I decided that I needed to take time off to make a plan, to figure out what I wanted. And also to accompany my stepdad in the dying process. And so I flew to Argentina and stayed there for 6 months with him. You know, we did. I'm a Buddhist. He was a Catholic, and I would chant in his room with him. And anyway, it was a wonderful experience. He was a brilliant man. And while I was there, he encouraged me to start a business plan, to make a business plan. And so I created a business plan when I was in South America, when I wasn't in the middle of all the craziness of the industry. I really had a nice space of time where I could sit down and say, okay, what do I want my business to look like? And most importantly, what I wanted to put down were the values that I wanted this business to be. What culture did I want it to be? And so I wrote down a long business plan of how I wanted to live the rest of my life and who I wanted to live with. And how can I recruit those people in to work with me? And so that planning time was really an important period of my life. One, the following of my stepdad's, of Carlos's passing. And then the second one was me really building the foundations of what was going to be my company. And so then when I came back to Nashville, I started looking for salons to buy because I thought, you know, I need to buy a salon. I can't just start one from zero, or it's easier to buy one. Anyway, at that point, there was a salon where the owner had passed away and his estate was selling the salon. So I approached them and we figured out a deal. And this was in 2013. I bought a salon. There were 6 stylists. It was a great location, and it was doing okay. And so I bought that and I started implementing my business plan with them. And we went on a retreat. The first thing I did was I took the 6 employees that we had on a retreat, and we went to a place called Camp Widgiewagon, and we stayed overnight. And the first exercise we did was create our code of honor. And to this day, actually, I just came back from a team meeting in one of our locations, And I open every single meeting by reading the code of honor. I don't read it, they read it. So I show it to them, and each one, and we have 10 rules that we go by, that we live by. And that has been one of the best things I've ever done, in that every month we put a voice to our values, and it's not just a thought, but it's also a vibration, a voice, and it goes deeper. And I think that really helps us establish a culture of kindness, joy, love, equanimity. So we really work at that really, really hard. It's not just something that we say. Like Heather Bagby says, we hire nice people. And I've taken that in, and I tell every single person that I hire, I hire nice people. That's the bottom line. And it has really worked to define our culture in the way that I want to work. I mean, I go to work and I love these people, and they're wonderful people, and they make a conscious effort to be kind, to be generous. It's not something that necessarily comes naturally to everybody. It doesn't. I mean, we're moody, we're, ups and downs, we have all these things. But when we bring the values out and we talk about them, the expectation is now clear. And so people, and once you've done that for a few years, the team begins to self-regulate, and the team begins to self-police. And it becomes pretty easy as a leader to identify the people that are not the perfect fit for us, and see if we can give them more time to improve, or if we need to uninvite them from the team. So it has been a wonderful experience. I started it I bought this. It's funny because before my stepfather passed away, he had a clock, a watch, a pocket watch. And he gave it to my mother and said, when Jason buys a company or starts a company, please engrave in the back of it the date that he opened and give it to him. And so I still have this pocket watch that says December 3rd, 2013, which was when I bought my first company. So it was kind of a full circle thing to see Carlos there, and feel that he's part of this journey. And I think that it is imbued with his energy of just love and compassion and kindness, and also, proactivity, proactively pursuing goals with a passion. It involves all of those things. So that's a bit of how I got to where we are, which is after 7 years, we went from 6 employees and 1 location. Today we have 4 employees and about 55 employees. 55 employees and 4 locations, sorry.
Wow.
We have 4 locations and about 55 employees. So it's kind of, it started growing by itself, and all of a sudden I didn't have room to put all these associates. And so another salon was for sale, and I went to them and I offered him what I thought was fair, and he thought it was fair, and I bought that salon. And then rented a room again, and there was a amazing building being built, and this is the very first time that I did an actual build out, which is expensive. It was very expensive, and I did that, and that one is an amazing location that generates a ton of revenue. And then last year in my neighborhood, which is East Nashville, there was a tiny little space available, and I thought, it's walking distance from my home. It's a great place. I love it. So I bought it. and so now we have 4 locations, and it's going really well. I mean, this last month has been a great, crazy, wonderful kind of coming back. Our rebook shot up again. And so we actually had our best retail month ever in 2 locations in August. It was it's been a journey, and a good one at that.
Wow. I mean, what you just said in probably the last few minutes was already gave us the tutorial. Part of your secret sauce, and I loved how you put it. Your code of honor, bringing, as you called it, what did you say? Bringing a voice to our values, the culture building. And I'm going to ask, and I didn't, I want to ask you this, and if I put you on the spot, tell me. I would love to get a copy of your code of honor. I'll post it on the interview because it sounds like it is a pillar. It's like the foundation of your build of your company. And I loved how you put it. As the culture evolves and matures, it self-regulates, and people police. And how did you put it? People police each other, which is wonderful. Where you're not the cop, but you facilitate. And then you mentioned retreats. I think I was at one, maybe even two of your retreats. It was off-site. It looked like it was at the place. Did we go to that place, or was that a different venue?
We did. We went to Camp Wagon. Yeah.
I've been there. I mean, it was both of those. I remember were extraordinary experiences, and I remember coming back the second time, and I could see and sense and feel the evolution of the consciousness, the culture. So it's been kudos.
There's a huge value to those retreats that we do, and our staff look forward to them every year. It's fun, and it's also edifying. I mean, gosh, Michael Cole's there.
Well, no, on both those times we brought. It was an extraordinary experience for all parties. I'm as good as the people I'm dancing with, and in both of those dances, it was wonderful. So good for you. You mentioned something that I want to I love how this conversation is going, because it's as much of a tutorial conversation as kind of an inspirational about your story and your history. But one of the things you said to me when I asked you, what's the future hold? And you made this term, you call it finding new technologies that help us. And I know that you are always out, vetting out, going on digs about, what is the new technology that's going to take you up. What do you mean when you say that?
So I've attended many symposiums through my 20-year career in the industry, and I purposefully have attended from different vendors, different symposiums. And my search is, I think that this industry will grow through technology. I think the next thing that that will make this industry more profitable is going to be technology. And so I keep looking for tools and technology to stay ahead of the curve. And so I always, I'm always looking for different technology. Zzor is one of them. We've had that and it works great. And so we go out and search for new technologies that are going to help us. It's all about finding new guests, and finding new guests is going to happen on the internet. It's not going to happen, through newspaper ads anymore.
Yeah. So I love it because, every time you and I chat, we kind of geek out a little bit about the latest, greatest technology, and you measure the efficacy by some metric, and you're running at 30% of your total count is new. So you've been able to brand yourself to attract market share. And there's two technologies I want to make sure that we have ample time for. One of them is Snip, and the other is Vish. Mm-hmm. Tell me, let's start with Snips. How did that? First of all, when did you get that, and what's that done for you, and how is that giving you an edge?
So Snip, just so we know what we're talking about, is a virtual consultation technology. And when the quarantine happened, as we were returning to it, I wanted to figure out, how can I reduce anxiety? It is a time of a ton of anxiety happening right now. So what can I do to help my team reduce their anxiety? And one thing I thought was, I got to search for something that's going to be a virtual consultation. And I looked, and I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I found Snip, and I was like, oh, okay, this works. So what we did was, before we booked our services, when we came back from the quarantine, we sent out to our guests Snip. And to explain what that is, it is a part of our website where you go in and you do basically a virtual consultation. So you put in a photo of yourself, a photo of your inspiration, and then you actually write down what you want, and you're done. Super simple, right? 3 steps, boom, boom, boom. And then you send it back to us. And then we have that information. So what we were trying to do is figure out, okay, these guests have not been in for 2 months. How much time is it going to take to get them to where they need to be? So to figure that out, we had to see the hair. And Snip allowed us to do that in a great way. So we sent out these Snips to all of our guests. And as they came back with photos. And each Snip has exactly what stylist they see. So what we did is we became the hub as a salon of all the information going in and coming out. So we send people the Snip guests, they send the Snip back with their information. I send that to the stylist, and then the stylist responds with how much time I need. And then we book the reservation. And so that's how we came back from the quarantine with this new technology. And it made a ton of sense. And the guests loved it. And the stylists loved it. And it reduced anxiety. And we didn't have to take time to do a consultation on the book. So it made a lot of sense, and it saved us a ton of money. Because if you're putting 15 minutes of a consultation on your books every time, yes, you're losing money, right?
Right.
What we sell in this industry is, yes, skill, but it's time, right? It's all measured by time. So we sell time. So if there's anything that we can do that's going to allow us to use less time, then let's do it. And Snip does just that. It allows us to take the consultation time away from the booking so that we can use that time to generate more revenue.
And what was amazing about this is technically that is a virtual consultation, but it required little to no time for your staff, your stylist, to, whether it's get on the phone or texting or whatever. It was handled at the front desk. And then I believe that once the front desk got a directive from the hairdresser as to what the services were and the time element, the front desk took it from there, booked, confirmed, and it kind of plugged into your regular protocol, I think.
Yep, that's how it worked. Yes.
And now that you're on the back, now that you've been open and in play, the Snips has become your intake anytime a first-time guest, whether it's a referral or a new non-request, the entry point, the touch point, if you will, is Snips.
That's correct. Yes, we send them a Snip. So one thing that we do is, so someone calls in, we'll book their reservation, we will book it, and then we send them a Snip, and we ask them, please send it back as soon as possible in order to keep this reservation. So they send it back, and then we send it to the stylist, and then the stylist says, oh, I actually need 2 hours for this. And so then we go in, and if we can adjust the timing, we adjust the timing. If not, we have to call the guest back. We seldom have to call the guest back. We usually can adjust the timing. So then we've only talked to them once, and when they send the Snip in, send it to the stylist, get the timing, make sure it's right, done.
Nice. And what's been the, because this is really, you're a very, 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 very early adopter of this. What has been the client's experience, and as they come in, what have they said to you or whatever to help you to affirm that this technology is, the one of the next new answers for your company?
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. If you're going to a salon and then all of a sudden you get an email asking you, hey, we'd like to prepare for your visit. Would you mind filling this out? So your thought is, wow, this salon has it together. This salon knows what they're doing. And it builds confidence in the guest. I mean, these are new time guests, so they won't have, they won't necessarily bring it up or talk about it that much. But it's impressive. I think guests are like, oh, okay, I've never done this before.
Right.
Point of difference, right?
Yes.
I've never done this before. Point of difference. Luxury salon. I'm in a new place. Okay, they know what they're doing. It's worth the money. So we are adding a layer of, I think it's a layer of luxury to the appointment making experience by doing this, by being prepared for them when they come in.
Yes. And now that this is kind of part of your rhythm, and you're one of a handful of salons that I've inquired and listened to about this, and what I got from a few people, I wanted to see if this was the case for you, is that a new client coming in via a SnapSnips protocol shows up, generally speaking, at a higher first-time ticket than the traditional client that comes in and just kind of calls in. Have you found that to be the case, or is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, because we know what we're doing.
Yes.
Right? We know what we're doing from the get-go. You don't have to talk about it. You take out the whole conversation issue that can be difficult on the chair and trying to the introduction and the whole thing, and then talk about the service. We know what is coming in. So first off, we reduced anxiety for the stylist. Huge thing. Huge. And secondly, yeah, it's going to be a higher ticket.
And I was also told that because there's a touch point, it's like it's a new touch point that's a pre-visit touch point that more first-time new clients tend to rebook, because it's almost like the first visit feels almost like a second visit. There's already been some interaction that has never been, we've never had that opportunity before. And so it's as much of a new guest higher retention technology as it is for an intake.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. We are adding a layer of service, and it's not that difficult, and it's helping us. I don't see a downside. I don't see a downside to this technology. They're all ups.
What's the investment in it for you? Like, how's that investment piece work? Is it you plug into something and then there's is it a monthly fee subscription? Like, how's that work?
It's a monthly fee. It's not much.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't want to quote exactly how much it is, because I'm going to be wrong. But
the investment's inconsequential because of what you're getting on the back end.
I mean, it's a nominal price, especially for the volume that we do.
Right.
It's 100% worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard that because there's a strategic alliance with L'Oreal. People use points to kind of drive that. So I'll put a link on my page, so if people are curious about that, they can. I think it's
if you're a L'Oreal salon and you have points on level, it's a free service.
Wow. Yeah.
Because you're paying in points.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
It's a no-brainer.
All right, so that was big. So you gave us two big gulps of secret sauce. Your core values with your what did you call that? How to bring voice to your values through your code of honor. Now we got SnapSnips. I want to spend just a little bit of time having you tell us about Vish, because you got really stoked about Vish as well.
I love Vish. I think Vish is the future of this industry. It will help salon owners who have mortgages, who are it will help increase their profit margin. And also, we've been talking about this for decades. Waste, color waste. Is there a salon owner that is not upset about color waste? I don't think that person exists. I think every salon is wasteful, right? You're always, and we've done all the things, right? We've done the jar of color where we tell everybody, listen guys, throw your waste in here. And then at the staff meeting, we point fingers, we show them the jar. But can you believe we said, do you know how much money is in here? And it does nothing, because all the stylists are looking and they're saying, oh, that's crazy. I mean, it's not me, but that's crazy. I can't believe it. And the person that's doing it never feels identified. And we don't know who's doing it.
Right.
So it's a difficult thing to address until now. This was a problem looking for a solution. This is not a solution that came in without a problem.
Yes.
There was a problem in this industry, and this is a solution. And that's why I really believe that Vish is probably one of the smartest decisions I've made in a long time. So you want to tell you what it is?
Yes, in a nutshell. Give us a Vish tutorial.
Okay, so what Vish is, Vish is short for Vishnu, which I love. But it's a company, and what they do is they help you reduce waste. There is a scale at the color bar and an iPad connected to that scale. And so you mix your color as usual, and then you go and you apply the color. And well, not as usual. You mix the color and you use the iPad, right? So you're putting all the information in the iPad. this is really not a big deal. It doesn't take more time than usual. It's very well done in that it is a fast system. It is very intuitive and it is easy to do. So you put the information into the iPad, you mix your color, you apply it. The only difference in behavior for the stylist is that they have to reweigh the bowl at the end of the service.
Wow.
So at the end of the service, the stylist grabs the bowl and they go and they reweigh it. And basically what they're weighing is waste. So now we have the information of how much is being wasted, like to the cent, and who is wasting. So in my culture, it doesn't make sense to point fingers. So I have never, ever mentioned waste to anyone that has been wasteful. I've found, I think the way for me to do it, the work for me to do it is I created a metric called reweigh percentage. And I put that into my PDMs. This is my professional development meetings that I do every month with every single stylist. We have a column for reweigh percentage. So all I'm trying to know is, did you reweigh? Because what's going to happen is if they reweigh, when that guest comes back for the same service, Vish is going to tell them how to mix that formula with exactly the amount that they used last time.
Wow.
So there's no waste the second time. I mean, there's going to be waste the first time, just like there's waste without Vish, right?
Yes.
But the second time, as they come back, you do the exact same formula. One, you have consistency, right? Because now it's not magic. Oh, and a dash of this. And you know how sometimes the stylist can get creative, like, oh, I don't know the formula. There's a dash of this and a dash of that. I'm like, okay. So this is actually science, chemistry, and it's telling you exactly how much you use. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So what that does is it cuts down on waste. So the first thing you're doing is you're reducing your waste. So if only you want to use it, if you want to use it only for that, you're going to save a ton of money as a salon owner.
Yes.
And there's a second layer you can do, which I just started doing. And the second layer is separating. Mechanics have been doing this forever. Separating parts from labor, right?
Yes.
So now what we do is each guest pays for exactly how much color they're using. So when the stylist weighs the color, they put it in Vish. Vish then goes to the front desk and tells them how much this guest used. There's an app in the front desk that you pull up when you're checking someone out, and it tells you exactly how much they use. You add that to the ticket as a retail item, because now you have to pay tax, because now the final consumer is the guest.
Yes.
Of the
Yes,
color.
yes.
So you got to talk to L'Oreal to change who's paying the taxes, right?
Right.
Which is easy. I mean, they did it for us, which is great. So now the final consumer of the color is the guest. And so the guest is paying it as a retail item. So now every single color that we do
Yes.
has a retail item attached to it.
Wow. Now I'm curious, and you and I didn't chat about this. You kind of like are blowing the sides off my brain box. So would that go as a retail sale? Is that go on the salon's retail or the stylist retail? Like, how's that work?
It goes in the salon's retail.
Got it.
So all that. It's rung under house.
Got it. And so that's what you would call the parts, and then labor is basically the balance of that service ticket, and you pay the whatever the commission schedule is on that. Correct?
Commission doesn't change at all. What
Right.
the stylist makes does not change at all. What we're changing is who is paying for it. So in the past, before Vish, I was charging every single guest, every single service, a $3 service charge. So if you're getting a blowout, there's a $3 service charge. If you're getting, a highlight, there's a $3 service charge. A cut, there's a $3. No matter if you're using color or not, it's kind of an average. And once Vish came in, I realized I wasn't charging nearly enough. So what I did is I got rid of the $3 charge. So if someone gets only haircuts, their prices actually went down.
Got it.
And then I said, you are only going to pay for what you use. Who can just debate with that?
Yeah.
I'm only going to charge you what you use. If you don't have much hair, you're going to pay, $1.50, $2, maybe $3. If you have a ton of hair, you may pay $20.
Yes. I love it. So you gave us a capsule of how Vish works, and I asked you this. You gave me the answer, and I can't recall. But when did you launch Vish?
I launched Vish very slowly. I launched it in June of 19. And the only thing that I asked the stylist to do is reweigh.
Yes.
So that's the only thing, the only behavior that I asked them to change.
Yes.
Somebody called for some reason. So then I asked them to reweigh. That was in June. And they started doing it. And then I got the data. And then I knew exactly who was wasting a ton of color.
Yes.
And who was using just exactly how much they needed.
Yes.
And that is helpful information for me to know, but not information that I use to, hit someone over the head with.
Yes.
Because I know that when that guest comes back,
yes,
the reways, the Vish is going to take care of it.
Yes. Now, somebody just got dialed in on my board that said, if it's a retail charge added, has the guest already agreed? Like how's that communicated to the guest, and how is the guest receiving that new change?
They're receiving it great. So we have a color contract with every color that we do, and it's on our iPad. So every stylist takes an iPad to the guest and says, okay, here's the estimate of how much you're going to pay. This is what it is. And the parts may change depending on how much I need. I may need to mix 2 bowls. So this is going to vary between, if they're usually $10, it's going to vary between $10 and $12, or between $3 and $5. So depending what the service is. So they know sort of kind of what it is, and they don't know exactly how much they're going to pay, but we give them a range
yes.
of what they're going to pay, and they agree to it, and they sign it on the contract.
Nice. And you're saying the receptivity of this has been pretty seamless, that you don't have guests freaking out or anything. It's like, it makes sense to them. Not
a single problem. We didn't have a single guest have an issue with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this has been...
it was surprising. I was expecting some people to say something,
right?
Because change is always difficult. But no.
No, but what I love about this conversation, Jason, is that Vish organically evolved. That when phase 1 was basically in the name, the intention was, I want to control my costs with regard to colors. So Vish's technology was brought in to do just that. And show a reweigh, and then over time, it's because now we're a year plus since you launched. This evolves. So you're saying you can stop anytime you want as it evolves on what makes sense to you. What's the investment for Vish? How's that work?
I want to say it depends on the size of the salon. Software is usually charged depending on how many stations you have and all that. So it depends on that. But I'm going to say around, I think it's $295 a month, maybe.
Got it. And you're saying that, and this is integrated into your software platform. So it doesn't hinge on a particular software program?
No, it does not. No. So Vish is now, again, I'm a pretty early adopter of Vish, and he is working with different software companies to integrate them.
Got it.
So right now, Vish has its own app on the front desk.
Yes.
And so when I'm checking out, I have to pull up that app.
Yes.
And I know the amount, and then I put that into my system.
Yes.
What he's trying to do is create a connection that it just goes into the system, and I don't need the app at all. And he said that's going to happen next year for my software, which is
I like how you underscored it, is because you're first of all, you are an innovator, an early adopter. So there's you're like you've skated to where you think the puck is going to be. And so for people watching this, they want to check on it now. Great. If not, stay tuned. More will be revealed. But I think it's a very, very edgy technology that gives you leading edge in like controlling costs. I think you told me it really drove down your costs substantially.
Significantly. Yeah.
All right. Well, first of all, I run on time. And this is going to go down as the most interesting interview I've done in a very long time. And inside of we're just under a 45-minute window, which was wonderful. It was 100% tutorial. So I want to thank you for giving us your time, Jason. It's been a historical interview, and if you and I will chat probably after this. If I got a PDF of your core values, I'll just upload it, or it's down and dirty screen grab. I know a lot of people have the code of honor, but they're not using it like you are. That's been a real interesting, enlightening conversation.
I think keeping it alive is important. If you put together a document of your values and then you put it in a drawer and no one talks about it, what's the point?
Yeah.
So talking about it is really important, and talking about it every single month. And every single month at every single meeting, I start, and they laugh at it. The stylist, actually, this happened. I went to one of my team meetings, and I usually start this with 7 years ago, we bought a salon, there were 6 employees, and we went on a retreat, and we came up with this code of honor. So now we're going to read it. This is our touchstone. That whole spiel, I do it the exact same way every single month. And so I was getting ready to do it at the beginning of a meeting, and my team said, hey, Jason, can I say something? And this is like the quietest stylist I ever had. This person, I barely know his voice. And he said, yeah, sure. He said, well, 7 years ago, and he goes into this whole spiel, and then he passes it on to another stylist, and the other stylist says, pursue goals with a passion. And then, they started narrating the 10 rules by heart.
Yeah.
It was the most touching thing that has ever happened to me at work. It was just the most beautiful thing. So it was great. And
I love it. I love it. Well, promise me you'll come back for an encore. You're a very interesting person in how you really articulate well, and it's just been probably one of the most succinct tutorials we've done in a very, very long time. So,
thank you.
Thank you very much, my friend. I'm gonna let you get back to what you're doing, and you and I will probably chat. So we're gonna give it up for you one more time. Get it up for me.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. It's been an honor.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Stay well. Say hi to my homies.
Okay.
All right. Wow. I think we need to give it up for him one more time. Yeah. I really, what I took away from this conversation is how he's leveraged the core value statement. Sometimes we'll call it a mission statement, and sometimes we'll call it a vision statement. And he said it's giving a voice to our values. Code of honor, it's part of his rhythm in his salon meetings. I think it sets a tone. He probably had that in play now for since the very beginning. Actually does retreats around it. Then he talked about snap snips. I'm loving how he is now, and by the way, 30% now of his total guest count is new. They're coming in through snaps, and as a result of coming in through snaps, he's running at a much, much higher first-time average ticket, a much, much higher new guest retention rebook on it, a much higher retail ticket. So I love this, and I will post. I believe the .com is snapsnipsapp.com. I'll post it on my page so that if you want to check that out. And then I loved it. And I've been hearing a little bit about the Vish technology. It's on a very front end of early adopter stage. Snaps has been in play, so their process is more seamless, simpler, safer. But we'll keep an eye on Vish. So extraordinary conversation. If you came in late, this will live on this page. We'll edit it, make it cleaner, and then put it down into a micro learning and put it on our Michael Cole Summit IGTV channel. So if you're new to us, hang out with me. If you keyed in Michael Cole Summit on Google anywhere in the internet, you're going to get this station, which is Facebook. You'll get my Instagram page, Michael Cole Summit. You'll get Michael Cole Summit YouTube, and all of the content that we have here that really come from people like Jason are. It's not my ideas. I'm now going out and kind of a reporter at large, finding Jedis that are really predicting the future by creating it, bringing them on, and then making it a tutorial. we are powered by L'Oreal Professional Products Division. So I want to thank them because of their financial support. We're able to do this, this and this and this and this and this. So there's a lot going on with this conversation. There's a lot going on our summitsalon.com. Get on that for all of the other resources that we offer that support our community. The community now is about 50,000 strong in Summit service providers. We're just under 5,000 salon spa companies that are plugged into us. So we're hoping that you'll become a part of us. This was our 222nd interview. And so if you get on the Summit, Michael Cole Summit's YouTube page, you'll find virtually every single interview that we've done, sequenced, curated, edited. So, and again, this is all compliments of L'Oreal Professional Products Division. So thank you, L'Oreal. We have another .com that our production value videos, kind of the Summit's Netflix channel, if you will. For a nominal monthly fee, you can become part of that as well. And all of these are online learnings that help us, stay in the game. A lot of the content that I'm creating these days is found on that as well. If you're new to us, you can get a 30-minute complimentary digital consultation by one of our 100 coaches now. It continues to evolve because SummitSalon.com is moving very quickly into becoming a digital consulting and coaching company online, moving from that to traditional, what we call brick and mortar coaching. All of our apps, whether our calculators for goal setting, our tracking apps, are complements of L'Oreal PPD, and they're put on that .com that you can plug into. So very, very seamless, user-friendly. You'll always see me wearing a tee. I call it an MC tat tee. There's now a website, and all of this stuff, I just love tats. So I put them on tees. So if you see one, if you go to that .com, all the proceeds to that go to charitable causes that touch my soul. So literacy education for preschoolers and kindergartners and first and second grade. As somebody that struggled way back when I was there, I love children. So I love to help them learn more, better, faster, so that they have a better life as a result. So it's a good cause. I just say that. Last but not least, thank you again to L'Oreal Professional Products, Salon Centric, State, RDA. Everything that we're doing these days on these channels is powered by them. So if it wasn't for them, we couldn't bring things to you, compliments of them. So thank you very much. It's been a great show. I'm going to let you get back to work, and we will be back tomorrow night with a Thursday night Facebook Live at 7 p.m. tomorrow. So I'll see you. Stay well.